Welcome back to the cottage, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to share some clips of my weekend which documents my simple living weekly reset routine and explains how it sets my family up for a smooth and organized week. First of all, I want to say that I have multiple resets and presets that I lean on to keep myself organized. One of them I do basically every single night, so it's my daily reset routine. Those tasks are very, very routine: washing the dishes, sweeping the floors, wiping down the counters, and things like that. The weekly reset, which I am sharing today, often looks a bit different from week to week, and that all depends on the season of life we're in and what we have going on. So these first clips here are of me taking down some decorations that the girls and I had put up for their homeschool presentation. That obviously does not happen every single week. They finished up their Asia unit study and shared what they learned with the entire family, so we cooked up some delicious Asian cuisine and displayed the art projects that they had been working on. And then they stood in front of everyone and shared 3 interesting facts about each of the 20 countries they learned about, which they did such a great job at that, and I'm so proud of them. One thing that does happen every week is laundry. As we move into the cooler weather and are wearing more layers and bulky clothing, this job has become a bit larger. I find that the weekend is when I have a good chunk of time to dedicate to the laundry. In our house, it works best to get the bins filled up and then tackle all of the laundry on one day. Basically, I tell my husband and kids to make sure that all of their dirty clothes are in the laundry hampers where they're supposed to be by Saturday evening. And then I give a last load of the week warning when I'm doing the laundry. And this just makes sure that everything is in the dirty clothes bin, and I washed through everything that was dirty, and I don't have anyone coming up to me midweek saying that they have a dirty shirt that they need for the next day or something like that. It just all gets done at one time, and we know that all of our clothes are clean by the end of the weekend. We're also still in football season for 2 of our sons. So our youngest finished up last week, but the other 2 are still bringing home their practice clothes and their game jerseys on Friday night. And most of the time they empty their own bags, but they were out of the house while I was working on the laundry today, so I just brought it in for them. And if you have teenage boys who are in sports, you will appreciate the importance and totally understand the need for this next step of the weekly reset, because those shoes can get pretty stinky. Now, like I said, I do sweep the floors as part of my daily reset, but on the weekends I try to go a bit further with sweeping areas that I don't necessarily get to during the week, such as the stairs. I also make it a point to vacuum the few rugs that we have throughout the house. I'm looking into some different options for a living room rug. I would like to find something a bit larger. This one just seems not the right size for this space, but I haven't found anything that I really want to invest in quite yet, and rugs can be pretty expensive. They seem like a bit of a commitment. So if you have any recommendations about rugs that you have found maybe online, or any tips that you have on how to find a good rug, I would appreciate it if you leave a comment down below. Something new I've added to the weekly reset is helping the girls a bit to get their room back in order. With them being homeschooled now, I'm finding that their space gets used a lot more, and specifically the table area gets messed up a lot because they usually have multiple art or craft projects going on. So during the weekend, I asked them to go through their papers and the supplies that they have and then throw out anything that isn't needed and organize the things that they'd like to keep. And after a weekend of play, they usually also need to reset their toys. I've got a few things to tackle out in the garage today. I like to make sure that the shoe organizer bench is tidy every weekend, and I sweep the landing and the steps leading into the house. We've got a ton of leaves falling right now in Minnesota, and it's been kind of rainy, and so the steps have been getting pretty gross. And this weekend also seems like the right time to change out the contents of the lockers. So that means out with the swimsuits and the beach towels and in with the warm coats, snow pants, hats, and gloves. And this process does always make me a little sad, but it has to happen. Having the winter gear readily accessible is an important step in helping life to run smoothly once the snow starts to fall. Dusting is another weekly reset routine task. It's not my favorite, but I know that if I don't carve out a bit of time each week for this particular chore, I will just keep pushing it off again and again. And honestly, we don't have a ton of things that need to be dusted, so it doesn't take very long at all for me to just go around the house with a damp rag and just get it all done at once. Bathroom cleaning is another very important part of the weekly reset. I do a quick toilet scrub and then wash down the sink and fixtures. I only clean the mirrors if they look like they need it, which is usually only every other week at the most. This is also a good time to check to make sure there is enough soap and toilet paper available in each bathroom, and I also like to take note of any shower or other bathroom products that might be running low. Each week I wash one shower curtain set. We have 3 bathrooms that have showers, so that means that they get washed every 3 weeks. Again, including this in the weekly reset just helps me to remember this chore, something that I might otherwise forget. And then I hang up the clean towels, and the bathrooms then are all ready for another week of use. Now back to folding. I find that having all the laundry done at one time really helps me to streamline this process. I can almost run it like an assembly line and get everything into piles based on where they will be going, which makes putting them away super easy too. I have had some pushback when people learn that I do all of the laundry for my family because I do have kids who are definitely old enough to be able to do it on their own. But personally, I just don't really care to have the washing machine and dryer running all week long whenever they have something, here and there that needs to be washed. I don't want that when I can get all of the clothes cleaned, folded, and put away in just a little over an hour. It just doesn't make sense to me to have all the extra commotion when I can do it in such a short amount of time if I just do it all at once. And the final resetting task for today involves tomatoes. We had some frost come through mid last week, which caused me to gather up all of the tomatoes that I could from the garden. Many of them were green or they're just starting to turn orange, And that means that for the rest of this month and maybe into next month, this particular windowsill will be home to ripening tomatoes. I'm going to pull out those that look like they've ripened enough and fill their spots with the green ones until eventually I can get through this entire gigantic bowl of green tomatoes. Even once they're ripened, I don't think the green ones taste quite as good, or the texture isn't quite the same as if they were ripened outdoors. So this batch will be made into either salsa or pasta sauce. Ending the weekend off with a bit of rest and relaxation was quite welcomed also. This may be the last bonfire gathering we have until next fall, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for following me along today as I went through my weekly reset. Like I said, it really helps to set our entire family up for a smooth and successful week. I hope your weeks are starting great too, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.